Oof. All right. What's up, everybody? It's another edition of Leafs Talk with JD Bunkis and Sam McKee. I'm not going to make it through the season. The roller
Hey,
coaster rides, the way that this team is treating the people that have to watch the ride, this is
uh,
abuse.
can we go full trust tree right now?
That was the season.
No, I thought they lost.
Oh, yeah.
I saw
Sorry, everybody.
Rodriguez hit it in the net,
Yeah.
and I went upstairs and I was like, I gotta put my contacts in, gotta have a glass of water, use the washroom, come back down here. I'm sitting all sad, and I hear Jobo being like, "Yeah, I got getting the highlight of the Gregor shootout goal," and I was like, "What's this idiot talking about? It was a breakaway. It wasn't a shootout. Like I didn't really say anything to it." And then I was like, hold on a second, they won." It was a very, very confusing existence for myself. So
Listen, man, I was sitting on
I saw
mad.
tweets from you, and I was like, "Did this guy send a scheduled tweet? Like, what
No,
happened here?" It
here's
was
the
a
thing.
confusing.
I didn't delete the first tweet, which
Yeah,
is the Leafs love to remind you that there is no bottom, because I was sour and they lost, and I was
of
like, I knew it.
course.
I was depressed. I was thinking about how they blew that just golden opportunity to close the third period where Noah Gregor gets the high stick.
Mhm,
That the Stars essentially no show again. It's another horrific beginning to the game. Their goalie bails them out in this night. It was
mhm.
tight all night, tight hockey. There's what, like a few minutes of good play. They lose Giordano to an injury. The blue line looks just in complete tatters. And I banged out that tweet of there's no bottom.
You were
I
ready to
refuse to
fire
delete
that
it.
baby.
I refuse to delete that tweet. Like they won, but I'm okay, buddy.
Uh,
This is my trust tree.
yeah,
They were playing the team that eliminated from playoffs last year,
yeah.
who was on a back-to-back that played a super emotional night the game before. And
Mhm.
I thought, okay, tonight to me is going to be a test of are you better? Are you better than you were last year? Like, do you have a better shot at beating this Florida team in the postseason? And throughout that entire hockey game, all I could think of was no, no, no. And the way that first period started, Bud, and you were in some of the same Leafs group chats as I am.
Buddy.
I was wondering if Sheldon Keefe was going to lose his job, if this was a coach killer game. Like I genuinely was starting to go through the machinations of, okay, well, what is the fallout from this? Because you just juggle the lines and you complete no show like this. The stakes of this felt huge to me. That's my trust tree. I felt like this was a bigger regular season game than maybe it was. Maybe I'm blowing it
Yeah.
out of proportion. I think I've been pretty rational so far this year on Leafs talk. I've been Mr. Oh, it's going to be fine. Everything's okay.
Mm-mm.
Tonight, all of that melted away. I went full blown blue and white eye goggles, whatever you want to say. This one felt big, and them getting that win, I don't know. It just feels like maybe a band-aid on a bullet wound, but they needed that band-aid. Like they needed it.
That was the Flex Seal guy just slapping the. That's what it was. Like, oh man,
Yeah. All right.
no,
We'll
like
deal with this leak tomorrow. We'll get somebody in here, but at least
I,
that Flex Seal is gonna last for a day.
I just gotta say, it's very good we don't do Leafs talk in between periods because after the first period, I was capital S sour,
Oh yeah.
incredibly sour,
Oh
as
yeah.
mad as I've been in a long time
Mhm.
outside of playoffs. I guess playoffs are a different animal, but that's as mad as I've been in a regular season hockey game. I was firing off tweets. I was so sour, just like embarrassing, terrified of the Panthers. And there's no other way to watch that first period other than that the Leafs, they saw maybe some of that game last night. They know what the Panthers are about. And they didn't want to look anybody in the eye. They didn't want to
No.
make contact. They didn't want to do anything in that
No, they were
first
the
period.
dog that peed on the rug tonight,
Buddy,
buddy.
they
Like
were
they
terrified.
yeah.
They were so like it was like the Panthers, Pedro Martinez, they're his daddy. They were her
Yeah.
daddy. Like it was just they were afraid of them. And I wouldn't say it changed a ton. Like I love Domi sticking up for it, getting the brakes beat off of him, and then talking about
Got
how he has
his
more
ass
hair
kicked.
than how he has more hair than Bennett or whatever. Like I guess that he was a bit of a bounce back, but I felt the whole night that the Panthers are just bigger, stronger,
Yeah.
winning every battle. Like, I guess, they get the win or whatever. The only goal they score is a Gregor beautiful goal. I don't know, man. They got the win, and it's really good they got the win, but I don't come out of this game feeling very good about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know you feel the same.
No, okay. So let me just start by saying this. So what was the big objective of the Leafs offseason?
To be oh
Yeah.
snot, snot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel that tonight? Did you feel like they were a meaner, rougher, tougher tumbler, could stand up to the Panthers' physicality?
Uh, no, it just felt like
Yeah.
the Leafs.
Okay. But
Felt a lot
okay.
like the Leafs.
But okay. One of the other things was they really need to improve secondary scoring. And
Mhm,
Noah Gregor came up with one of the biggest goals of the year so far. The guy who scored the first goal of the year
mhm.
now has also the biggest goal of the year. And
That's a
I do think
great
that,
goal, man.
dude, it was a
Great goal.
awesome goal. I feel so bad because on my show the other day, I
Uh-huh.
had Versteeg on and I was saying to him that he reminds me of the guy in Mighty Ducks who can't stop, where it's like he's got it all, but he just can't stop. But
Well, I sent a
but
tweet
that's
like
finished.
Pete Gregor is like a $7 million player. Like,
Yeah, dude,
if he's like the best flashes of your game, you catch him on the right night, you're like, we're
yeah.
signing this guy 5x5.
Dude,
He's
it's
unbelievable.
funny. It's funny that you say that because I was thinking about how like collegiate athletes, guys, when you finish high school and you want to go to like try to get applied to a college, whatever, you put together your coach. Back in the day, your coach used to
Yeah.
put together like a highlight tape of you.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought about how if Gregor had the 5 minute YouTube highlight tape
This
with this
guy's a
like
problem.
with ludicrous beats in the background, it would be every college in America would be complete bidding war for Gregor's services. But anyways, so like they got some secondary scoring, but
Yeah.
that's nice. But here's the big one to me. And so I'm gonna start with the positive because I don't think that there's many in this game. And
Mhm.
I do think that the people who listen, I'm getting it out tonight. Okay. Like
Yeah, let me have it.
I'm laying out some
Mhm.
I'm mad stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping it inside just because they beat the Panthers in a shootout. But the positive is Joe Woll was an absolute stud tonight.
Yep.
Like,
Best
what do
player by
Leaf
far.
fans always bitch about when it comes to playoffs? Is they haven't had a guy that's going to steal them a series.
Mhm.
And I don't know if Joe Wall's the guy, like, we're going to see. But tonight, for them to be playing in a big game where they
Mhm.
came out like complete, I can't even not swear talking about the way they looked in the first
No.
period. Like, I can't say how they looked in the first period without swearing. So let's just put it this way: the way they looked in the first period and
Mhm.
Joe Wall standing on his head and giving this team a chance to settle in. Some of the big saves that he made, just the
Mhm.
confidence in the net, the big body, the positioning, the rebound control, just every bit of it. And yeah, the Panthers are a volume shooting team, so there wasn't like 5 highlight reel saves here, like or what 10 bell saves like you would throw up in a highlight reel. But just this is the kind of guy that you need. This is the type of goalie performance that you need in the postseason that this team has been
Yeah.
aching for and begging for. And so, to me, he's an unproven guy. He's a young guy. He's shown some warts already throughout the season, but this is obviously his game of the year. And I think, like, if we're doing, hey, what are the most important performances of the Leaf season? This is the number one for me. This is it. This is the number one performance of the season for me is Joe Woll and the what 38 saves he made tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
38 to
there's a huge
39.
graphic right there. I was going to say I
Okay.
wrote it down.
Wow, way to go there, Sherlock.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
yeah,
I you know, I think not to pile on Samsonov because he's going through it right now, but the way that he's looked, this game easily could have been 4-0 in the first period if he's in net. Or like
hmm
a lesser goalie in general. Like I just felt like they were all of where they finished the first period with 15 or 16 shots.
yeah. It was 15 to
And
6.
yeah, they were all over the Leafs. And yeah, there were some volume ones, but there were some grade A chance. The thing with
Yeah,
him is they don't look as grade A because when they
yeah,
hit
because he's
him,
good
he's
position.
just he's just sitting there and he's in the right spot and it sticks to him, right? Like the only I don't really have a lot of complaints about the style that he has. You know, some of them get through him from a little bit of distance is the only thing I'd say. But just like the aesthetically pleasing factor or just the way he plays, it just looks so much more solid. It's hard not to say that he's a more technically sound, technically better goalie than Samsonov is. I don't know if he's better full stop, but right now, that was a massive performance, like you said. And got to give him credit. He was stepped up when a lot of guys didn't.
These guys better be thanking him. And
For
I will
sure.
say this.
Belt.
eh, I thought again, whatever. People can say it's an idiotic take. With
Mm.
all the things that's been going on in the league right now, like the coaching firings, I would sort of hate it if they fired Sheldon Keefe, but had the Leafs played that entire game, I thought this had Pittsburgh Penguins potential from a couple of years ago when Babcock got fired,
Mhm.
where they just laid down in the streets and who is the poor Casacuso was
Oh,
in
yeah.
net and poor
Casimir,
Casimir.
Casasuso or whatever.
Poor Casimir Casasuco brought his whole family in, and they just let
Casasupo,
him.
I forget his name. Poor
Malkin
guy.
just went, "Welcome to the show.
But
Welcome. I'm
the
up
first
here."
shot in that game was
Yeah,
Malkin down the middle seam,
yeah,
right on net, bar down. Like the
yes.
first chance in that game.
I had those vibes from this first period,
Yeah.
but people love railing on Sheldon. People like saying he does a bad job. Whatever. Like
Yeah.
I think he's like a their panel did a C grade for him, and I would have said, yeah, he's C plus. Like it, he's the one who decided to start Joe Woll tonight. Good pulse by him, because he could have gone with either guy. It wouldn't have been controversial either way. And before the game, they asked him about it, and he just said, this guy's been going slightly better. We've had a lot of days off, and this is the guy that we're going with. And man, huge choice for him, because I do think if Samsonov's in net, this one was probably 4-0, and maybe some jerseys get thrown on the ice. I don't know. That it had that kind of vibe in the building to me tonight.
I don't want to, just the stick on the Keefe thing. We saw him lose his mind on the bench. Very funny that he does it against the Panthers, where last year Paul Maurice, quote unquote, saves the season when he goes ballistic on his guys. He goes red in the face and he screams at it. And they, get on a 6 or 7 game winning streak, and they end up with, like, look at this. When have you ever seen this from him? It's not, of course, but it's not just you, buddy, that's feeling the heat. He knows. He knows, first of all, that this team is not nearly as good as teams he's had in the past, and that he knows where this goes if they start going in the wrong direction. You know what the conversations are going to start to be. Like, there's clear warts with this team. The decor, simply not good enough. Injuries aside, even with all the guys healthy, it's not a championship caliber decor. The contributions he's getting from Marner and Matthews right now, it's just not nearly good enough. And when they're not going, it's really hard to win games if you're the Leafs. The bottom half of the roster hasn't been great for a lot of the year. So there's a ton of reasons that it's not Sheldon Keefe's fault, but he's a smart guy. He knows how it goes in this market. And I think seeing him snap like that, he's feeling it, dude. And I don't know how he couldn't be. You're watching all these games, man. It's just, they're not nearly as good as they have been in years past. And it's like, they've had cold stretches or whatever, but they've been able to lean on their team defense. They've been, they haven't lost a lot in a row. They haven't had these weird stretches. And it's just, he's concerned as everybody else. You can tell.
Dude, you cut his audio every game.
It's different. It's a different tone.
Talking. He's talking right now. He's discussing how he's challenging players. He's breaking up the top guys on the team and saying that it's not good enough. Like the quotes that he gave over the last couple of days, I think that it's showing you this is a guy that, again, is in the I'm letting it all hang out mode right now. And so I think that's it. He's probably tired. You think that, you as a fan, you're frustrated, and I'm frustrated watching them have the start that they had tonight, right? It's like that team was on a back-to-back. They just played a super emotional game. Kachuk's playing his brother. He's barking at guys on their bench to come out and scrap them, right? It's just a war the night before.
Yeah.
They get on the plane, they travel, they show up in Toronto. The Leafs, it's been hours and hours and hours of media talk going, what these guys got. I thought they were going to come out with their hair on fire after the lines got broken up.
But we know better than that, dude.
They come out timid and tight. I know. And this is the worst part about this team, is that they fooled me a million times. And I think that's what's so heartbreaking, is that I'm a sucker. Like I would fall.
We're all suckers,
dude. Yeah. I would fall for this over and over and over again, where just, I keep looking at the lineup and saying, tonight's the night they got to show something. Tonight's the night where they got to show up.
Yeah.
He sees that effort, and his job, like we said, is it's on the line. So he starts to tear them. Yeah. He just rips them to shreds. He seems to really not care about going at Bertuzzi, especially.
He doesn't. I think Bertuzzi might be a bit of a punching bag for him. He let him have it there. Yeah. That was in the ear lobe. Yeah. He was basically sucking on his earlobe there.
I know.
He let him have it.
Yeah. I would have loved to have them mic'd up to hear what he said.
A lot of F's. A lot of stuff you can't say on the radio.
I know. It would have been great to hear it. Anyways, I'm with you. I think this guy's coaching for his job, and he's feeling it, and the market knows it. And the way that it was tonight, like, I know the Leafs want to be patient. I know they don't want to pull that trigger. I don't think that they think that there's a great option. I talked to Mike Feuda today about it, and he was mentioning that unless Tree Living has a relationship with somebody in the game that's out there right now, that it doesn't seem like a wise move. But yeah.
And now Calgary's like sneaky good again. They've gotten hot here, and they're like in a playoff spot, so they're not going to sell. It's just, the decor, man. And I guess we can start talking negative.
Yeah. I'll just to wrap up on the Keefe thing is like, I don't like the firing a coach just to fire a coach. Like, I do think that the hand he's dealt right now, it's hard for me to blame him.
Bad one.
Dude, it's hard. I don't want to be sounding like a Keefe apologist. I thought that they should have fired him last offseason, that they should have just started fresh and gone with something new and let Tree Living hire a new coach. But right now, if you're going to ask me, hey, what are the 5 biggest problems on the team?
Mhm.
and you listed coaching, I'd go, all right, well, you're just not watching these games, or you got some kind of axe to grind, because it's clearly not one of those things. But if you just look at what they can do, you mentioned it. Calgary's in a wild card spot. The only way
Mhm.
that they're selling somebody like Zadorov is if it's for a king's ransom, and it completely depletes your pool of players. You've
Mhm.
already shuffled up the lines, right? Like
Yep.
you've challenged the players. There's no real other move. You keep
No.
switching up the goaltenders. You've got to beat up blue line. There's nobody that you can pull from the AHL that's supposed to give you a spark. In fact, I thought there's one guy in particular on this team that needs to go back to the AHL after a game like that tonight. Like, I don't know, man. I just felt like it was the only lever that they could pull, and it
And
was a way for them to kind of change it up, and that was it.
yeah, the too many men thing is a tough look for him. But
Yeah,
tonight was a bogus call.
yeah,
That
it
was
was.
just it was a line change near the puck,
Florida's was too, though.
which the high stick.
No, Florida got hit with too many men as well early in the game, and I was like,
Oh
wait,
yeah. Like my take on too many men is that they're way too ticky tack with them.
yeah,
Like it's
they're
to
horny
me
for
it's
that call.
to me it's got to be egregious. And the ref was clearly influenced by everyone on the bench banging their stick.
Yeah,
The refs knew that they had called like a reviewed penalty. There's no way they call that if there's no penalty that's already happened. I don't want to put this one on him because this was a totally
sure.
normal, but like they've had a lot of bad ones.
I
But
was gonna
this
say
one tonight wasn't on
I'm
him.
pretty unforgiving when it's like you've had it more than anybody in the
For
league. And
sure. It's hard to give him the benefit of the
Keefe,
doubt, but this is a normal line change.
sure, I agree with you, but the big
Yeah.
fear is that Keefe has lost the room, and these guys can say that he hasn't, but when he's
Mhm.
saying the stuff that he's saying in the media, and when he's barking at guys the way that he is on the bench, and when he's
Mhm.
saying, "Hey, I've addressed it," when it comes to the too many men, and then you take another one, it's hard not to feel like that's the major case for this to
Mhm.
happen. And anyway, whatever. I thought it was a bit of a coach killer game. All right, negative time. Where do you want to start?
Well, they got how many unplayable guys playing right now? Big minutes on the decor.
Dude, you know what I thought so I don't know, Morgan Riley had to finish with over 30
Oh
minutes
my
tonight.
God. I'll look at I think I was looking at the times here quickly. I'll
Yeah.
pull it up.
Also, again,
He was 30
I
30 tonight.
yeah, so I got to sneak in that one positive. I do feel like Morgan Riley's season is going super under the radar.
Oh, he's been
He's just been
unbelievable.
he's been amazing. Just a rock. He made that incredible play again tonight where it was just an easy, patient play instead of taking a penalty where the guy's got to step on him,
Mhm.
waits it out, and then breaks up the play instead of giving up a high opportunity or a dangerous chance. I thought that he actually was just snapping the puck around. He's the only guy that can break it out on the entire team. He's playing
Yeah.
responsibly, defense like he's been a rock. They lose him, and it's
Oh, it's a
it's a
wrap.
wrap. Yeah, it's over.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah,
season's
there's
over.
no
Yeah,
question.
but he's the right now. If you said it's funny because Nylander has absorbed all the oxygen, rightfully so. Its contract year has been brilliant, but
Mhm.
if you were asking me, hey, who's the Leafs MVP so far through the season, I would say it's actually not Nylander. It's Riley, or at least it's close. It's between those
I
two
think
guys.
it's
I
1A,
don't.
1B.
Sure, yeah,
It's a
that's what I
conversation
mean.
between those two guys.
Okay, sorry. I would say that Nylander has been the MVP, but if you were talking about like who's the most indispensable guy right now on the team,
Mhm.
it's Riley.
The most indispensable guy, the MIG.
No, it's yeah, sure. Yeah. My brain is broken after this one, man. I'm telling you. I was going through the emotions.
Uh,
But yeah, the blue line, okay, they remind me the whole team right now. They
mhm,
remind me of the when you show up for intramurals, you
mhm.
show up for beer league, and it's like we don't have a full team tonight. Everybody's, we got to play extra minutes, and everybody's tired at the end of it and just completely gassed because go through it. Reeves can't play him. Robertson was an abject disaster tonight. I'm sorry to the Nicky Bobby fans. He
The
can't play.
Robertson
Like,
Hive.
yeah, the Robertson Hive, which is very real. I'm sorry, kid can't play. He is not it for a game like this. Every single time he touched the puck outside of that one moment where he had a chance in the slot, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, he played under 10 tonight.
Yeah,
The
and
only he was wow. Camp was under 10 tonight too.
yeah,
So those are
so
the only Reeves, Camp, and him were under 10.
yeah, and they had to play their blue line, but a
Mhm.
bunch of the like Connor Timmins,
Yeah.
rough
So
tonight.
all you ever hear about right this time of year from like the hockey guys is it's really hard. It's hard to make a trade. It's hard to make a trade.
Yeah,
It's like, well, it's a hard job, and they need some reinforcements here because they can't keep now. Geo, I don't know what happened to him, but he left the game. Looked like a finger, looked like a thumb. He was inspecting it. Looked like he got hit with a hard shot. So who knows what that is? Like without him, you're playing Legason, Benoit, and Connor Timmins in your decor. It's like you have to go out and find at least one guy to tide you over. It's just like you're gonna lose too many games with those guys as your guys. You need somebody who can make a breakout pass. Their defense and their forwards are so disconnected right now because nobody can snap it up. And I think that's one of the main reasons they brought in Klingberg is because they needed a guy that brings offense from the back end that can make a great breakout pass, who's good on the power play. They just
Right
have
shot.
no option. They just have no options. And, you see Connor Timmins out there in 3-on-3 overtime. I'm like, oh my God. Like McCabe's out there. And, say what you will about McCabe. Like he's not even, I'm like, half the time I'm worried about him. And he's like their stalwart outside of Riley. So even when this decor is healthy, it's still not great. Like it's not even close to great. So you really need to insulate these guys because this next stretch of games, you got Boston Saturday night. Like you're going into a busy time of the year. You can't just keep running these guys out there. It's really going to start to get stretched and worrisome if your 3 of your 6 guys are Legis and Timmins and Benoit. And like we both love what Legason's brought, and Simone Benoit, like good on him. He's filling in admirably. But Connor Timmins, it's looking a lot like Connor Timmins last year. Like people are like, oh, you lit up training camp. Yeah, it's like, well, Jack Campbell had a 970 save percentage in training camp. So, maybe we should pay attention to the regular games instead of the little 2-week sample size. It's just not good enough. So I don't know how they're going to improve it and when they're going to improve it. They got to do it soon, man. It's not good.
So to me, it's just I don't see how they make a trade right now unless it's some kind of a challenge trade where you move in Nick Robertson and you get an AHL quad A guy like a Nick Robertson for your blue line, or you're grabbing a dude like another Timmins, because they're working from a limited asset pool, dude. And Tree Living spoke yesterday and he said it. You can't just go and think you're going to trade yourself out of problems. I agree with you. This isn't sustainable, but to me, the only real solution for this team is that the star players play like superstars, that they elevate their game. And that's, again, the biggest trouble spot for me tonight is you look at this game and you're expecting a little bit of jump and a bit of life. And I do feel for those top guys because, again, it does feel like everything is riding on them, but that's the ecosystem that they've created with these cap numbers,
But
right?
that's what the money is for.
Exactly. And so I thought Matthews didn't have a good shift until the third period with about the 13-minute mark.
This is for the uncles in Etobicoke, but if I got to watch him grin one more time when there's a scrum going on in front of his net, I'm going to kick the TV. It's like, hey man, you're 6'5". You're 200 and whatever pounds. You're huge. Get in there and look mad one time.
He leaned on somebody right after.
Yeah, great.
He fired some Panthers.
Yeah, you know why we're all talking about it? Because it's like it's an eclipse. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my, it's like, I had a buddy text me and he's like, you think the guys in the truck are like, oh my God, get that highlight. It's like, we got to get that. It's a great hit, but like, can we do this maybe more? Like, I know he has, it's like his hit numbers are high or whatever, but come on.
I like that the Panthers even chased him to the boards, though. Like, they were like to the bench. They're just like, no, where are you going? Get back out here and answer for this. But
no,
he was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to be doing
no chance. But you know what I mean? It's just like, I just wish that one of these 4 guys was a pain in the ass. Was like, why do all 4 of the stars in this team have to be wired the exact same way? And it's always been one of my biggest complaints with the team, where it's like they can bring in all these guys below them and they can try to bring in this snot or whatever. But the 4 guys that this whole baby's built around have the exact same mentality. They
I don't want to see them gripping the sticks too tight in a game like this, where they look nervous. It's like you should have experience now. You should have enough experience now as a team. Like, you've all been together. You've wanted to have this every offseason. You get eliminated and you go, we want to stick together. We believe in this room, blah, 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 blah. And then you have these push come to shove moments where people just want to see if you've learned your lessons. And that's all the regular season is, right? It's like, it's a test for the playoffs.
Yep.
And that's why tonight felt especially important, even though the standings now are becoming more and more. It's after US Thanksgiving. People care about it more. And just, it's another first period where none of those guys have an ounce of anything, right? Like, it's Nylander gets bowled over on the first goal and soft back check. Guys are in front of the net. They bang one in, and then you go, okay, maybe that'll wake him up. No, nothing. Like I said,
Yeah, of
Matthews, I didn't really notice him until, well, I noticed those guys on the power play when they got their
course.
opportunities, but never finished. And it was almost predictable. Like it's like, great, grab the iPad again on the bench, Mitch. Like
Oh
grab
my
the
god.
iPad and keep staring at it, all of you, and go like, hey, we didn't score again. Nice. Like, good job. Whatever it is that you guys are looking at that iPad tonight wasn't really working for you, because the power play, other than the one blocker save that was made right at the very beginning off of Matthews on the one, right after,
Yep.
dude, there was like 3 crazy chances. Nylander rung 2 posts.
Yep.
There was this puck that just about trickled through. Like, this was the moment of the game where they felt a little dangerous. Outside of that, it was just sleepy performance. I will say a little credit to Marner, because he didn't lose his like, he played with a little bit of an edge, a little bit of physicality after he
Yeah.
took the puck to the face, and that's got to be just hell playing out there. And how
Glad you
could you
brought that
not be
up.
worried? How could you
Glad you
not
brought
be
that up.
thinking about it? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
no,
you're
that's
going into the boards, it's in your head.
yeah, it's a all heart move to go out there after
Yeah,
taking a slap shot in the mouth, putting a
yeah,
cage on and getting back out there. And I don't know who it was he rode into the boards at the end, nailed somebody pretty good. So I'll
yeah.
give him a lot of credit for
Big
that. I
credit for that.
thought he actually played. I mean, it would be hard to be worse than you were in the first period, but I thought he actually did look a little better with the cage on. God, he looked like such a minor hockey guy out there with that
Yeah, he
cage
did.
on. I
So
was like,
small, and it was just the cage. It
the
was nuts.
cage. Like, look at him.
Yeah.
That guy is going for some ice cream tonight after the game.
By the way,
Going for the
Sheldon,
McDonald's drive-through.
yeah. I don't
Maybe
know.
get a
I
maybe
don't
get a
know. I don't
toy.
know if the boys are getting burgers tonight. I got to tell you.
Maybe some
Hold on.
pizza.
So, by the way, Sheldon Keefe says on Geo he's going to miss time.
Great.
So
That's good.
that's a tough one. So yeah, it's not going to get any easier for them. Okay, going through this thing. Yeah, we talked about Gregor. We
Mhm.
talked about the Domi fight. Yeah, what else is on your? Oh, dude, you know what was a big one too is they got away. I didn't mention this one with the Woll, but at the end of the first, they
3 on
get
1.
that. Oh, sorry, the end of the second, that 3 on
Second.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This end of
it's
the
like,
period stuff, it's it's been a didn't we have this in the playoffs? Wasn't this a conversation in the playoffs when they were
yeah, it
giving up
was.
goals? It's like,
Yeah, I
stop.
got a whole page of notes, and there's not good stuff in here. Like, there's not.
It's the scribblings of a madman.
It is the scribblings of an angry madman who did not enjoy anything from this game.
No,
Like,
I hate the end of period stuff. I hate
yeah, I
it.
do too.
Because you've played enough. Everyone who's played hockey at any level knows there is nothing more backbreaking than a goal at the end of a period.
Yeah,
It just kills you. Like, you think you're about to get out of a period with whatever situation you're in, and you go down. It's like, oh well, we got to go back up one no matter what. It's just such a frustrating thing, and the Leafs do it all the time. So,
yeah, awful.
really frustrating. Yeah, the only other thing that I wanted to bring up is the new helmet sponsor absolutely
Yeah,
glistening tonight. It
it was
looks
supposed to
so
be your
good.
night, maybe.
It
Yeah,
looks so good, glistening. I was disgusted in the first period the way they played with that beautiful new helmet sponsor on there. I was just disgusted by it. But then I saw them, they got the win. Hey, they're 1-0 in the pizza era, baby. Let's go.
yeah. See, I thought it was going to go the other way, and I was going to hammer you by calling it the
No.
pizza curse.
Well, it's the only reason
Yeah,
it's a tough sponsor. It's like anytime a D-man throws it up the middle, a guy's like, "Hey,
yeah,
you're
no,
sponsored by that thing on your helmet there, buddy. That's a
yeah,
pizza." But
yeah,
I saw a lot of slander of pizza today on
yeah,
my
yeah,
Twitter feed. And you know what? All those people out there, it's been there for you in your hardest, darkest times, no matter what. Always hot, always fresh. So get off the back. Okay.
All right.
It's a great Canadian company.
It's okay,
Enough.
buddy. Like, yeah, we get it. They sent you a free pie for
Well, yeah, I
your,
mean, they sent me a free pie. It's about time. I've only
yeah,
been stumping for them for
yeah.
10
I was,
years without
yeah.
anything. So I'm in
Uh,
the trenches, bro.
when I saw your tweet of this is a big day for me and my family, it's one of the hardest I ever laughed on Twitter. I thought it was my favorite tweet. I immediately banged the retweet the second
Thank
I
you.
saw it. I was like,
Thank you.
this is you. And the thing is, you meant it.
Oh, yeah.
You meant it. I
Well,
guaranteed it was just, did
as
you
you
text?
know, I live in a pizza household.
Yeah,
My lovely wife Allie loves it. Her sister Leandra, diehard pizza fan. It's
yeah,
a pizza household. It's been a big thing up in Owen Sound forever. We ordered it all the time. It was a big deal. So
yeah.
it's a full circle moment for me. So
I'm happy for you,
shout out.
man. I'm
Shout out.
happy for you. And I
Thank
will
you.
say this, you're right. If they don't make a move for a defenseman, they don't, like, is there somebody else in the Marlies I don't know about?
No, there's no one
They
else.
got
They're
They
like
got a
they're
guy.
literally
Did the Marlies?
they gotta get a guy.
I was
I
gonna
don't
say
know.
with who's up here right now, who's
Call
playing for the
Todd
Marlies?
Crocker. Tell the Crockpot. See if he knows anybody down there. I don't know. Like
I just seeing them play in their own end, and sometimes it's really hard to watch.
they can't make a
Especially when they
breakout
get the
pass.
wrong guys out there, huh?
They can't break it out. Like the
I
only
know.
and Morgan Riley isn't he's a good passer, but he's not like your prototypical first pass breakout guy. Like even him. So they're gonna have to address it.
Yeah. I need to see that from Connor Timmins though. Like that's supposed to be the thing you can do, and I didn't see it tonight.
Topi Niemela down there or Ronnie Herdovinen? He's a forward.
No,
Like,
Ronnie's a
Topi
forward.
isn't Topi's down there, isn't he?
Yeah, where's Topi?
Topi's playing with the Marlies. He's played 15 games this year. He's got 9 points.
All right.
Bring up Topi. I mean, I mean, isn't he? It's about time. We've only been talking about this guy for 15 years.
We're talking about the Leafs not looking tough enough against the Panthers. And you want
Pick up the 5'9".
Topi and Nick Robertson, Connor Timmins. Yeah. It's gonna be great.
I really hope it wasn't the 3. It was just like having a little swoon with Robertson, and it wasn't the annual 3 games a year that we get excited about Robertson. But it's really starting to feel like it is.
No comment.
Okay, I'll make the comment. It is. Yeah. Great win for the Leafs tonight. Tons of positives to come out of that.
Yeah. Anyway, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sammy McKee. Hit the 5 stars on Spotify or iTunes, and then leave a nice little review if you're listening on iTunes. If you're watching on YouTube right now, bang a thumbs up. Leave a comment that isn't that we suck. That would be nice. Leave a nice comment. Hit the thumbs up, and then we'll be back tomorrow or on Thursday night for the Kraken game, which
Squids.
Probably another overtime roller coaster ride for all of you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.